Hi everybody, and welcome back to NorCal Slot Car Scene. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different than I usually do. Most of my how-to videos are on performance and building cars, and this one is on actually building a white kit. And I've chosen the Lexus RCF GT3. This shot was taken at Laguna Seca in 2023. The Lexus has been very successful in IMSA racing and is racing this weekend at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. One of the reasons I decided to build a new GT3 car is my 4GT is quite frankly getting a bit old and battered, and it's seen its share of race wins. So it was time to retire the 4GT. So I settled on the Lexus GT3, and I purchased a white kit from Racer Sideways. Since the 4GT performed so well, I decided to choose a Racer Sideways Lexus GT3, which dimensions-wise, in terms of the guide lead and so forth, is very similar to the 4GT. It was quite simple to build the chassis because I simply took the running gear out of the 4GT and put it into the Lexus. If you want to see the build on the 4GT, check the link in the upper right. As for finishing the car, I decided to use some decals from MTR32. I chose the Mark Levinson decals, but because the chrome blue is virtually impossible to replicate, I decided to use the Levinson livery, but change the color up and go to a bright red. One note on the decals, there are instructions with it, and John told me about this beforehand, or I probably would have skipped the instructions. But when you use the MTR32 decals, what you want to do is use a clear coat over the top of it, and they recommend the Tamiya X22. It's simply brushed on, left to dry, and then the decals are ready to apply. As far as a color for the car, I wanted something bright that stands out on the track, so I picked a bright red, and I wanted to somewhat replicate my actual street car. So it's a metallic red. So the color on this car is two base coats of Tamiya bright red, followed by just a slight misting of metallic red. I was extremely happy with this color. Now on to building the rest of the car. When you look at the white kit, the interior is not like a typical white kit. It's completely built. I've detailed the driver a little bit, and I've changed the roll cage color to silver instead of white. But the interior comes completely assembled. And there's some detail in this interior that's, to me, is kind of beyond belief. You can see my detail on the helmet and the shoulder belts, but you can also see the driver, and behind the visor, they've got these eyeballs there. So the detail on this is very, very good. Looking closer at the interior, and these are things you probably never see once you put the interior in the car, but check out the instrument panel. The instrument panel is extremely detailed, and hopefully we'll get it out of first gear. Taking a look at the steering wheel, it looks very similar to the actual Lexus GT3 steering wheel, with all the buttons and dials, and even the Lexus logo over the carbon fiber. I applied the decals, and now we're getting close to a finished car. And you can see I had some extra decals left over, so I put the Lexus logo on the chassis, which is actually part of the splitter. The Lexus GT3 cars typically use a very contrasting color around the grille as well as on the diffuser in the back, so I chose a nice bright yellow to offset the red. I got the car almost done, and my friend John, again, who's one of the best modelers that I know of, said, "Hey, that looks pretty bad with those wheels on it." And those are the race wheels and tires. I decided to put the original wheels and tires on with the decals. I added the mirrors and some striping that came with the decal set, as well as adding the original tires and wheels with the Continental logos. And it really does look great. But when I get to the track on Saturday, these will come off and the race tires will go on. Here's the finished product. With a basic paint job, the decal set from MTR32, and a little bit of detailing, I think the car looks awesome. Thanks for watching. This is Jim Rose with NorCal Slot Car Scene.